Sure, you've seen One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, but did you ever stop to ask, what if it had kung fu and a thief and a guy who looks like Christian Slater wearing a Harvey Keitel mask? Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung did. Welcome to Half-Ass Movie Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Half-Ass Movie Podcast, a show where we put together a half-ass theme as an excuse to watch movies. My name is Adam Portress, and joining me today, he's also from the streets, so don't waste his time. Sweet Shanta Kovacs from the internet.
Have you ever seen an elephant climb up a tree?
And he's finally decided to start his own Sammo Hung's Breakdancing for Big Boys Academy, Bruce Leslie.
You know, I feel bad because Sean stole my opening line.
It happens. Welcome back, everybody.
2 in a row. That's 2 weeks in a row, baby. Let's see if we can keep this streak going.
Jackie Chan-uary continues, everybody. We are on to Meals on Wheels from 1982. Wheels on Meals, not Meals on Wheels. That was our American program where we got food to people that were less fortunate and whatnot. This is not that. This is guys kicking people in the face.
Today.
Is that right?
Still in place? Yes, still in place today.
Meals on Wheels and the Bookmobile. Those two things I'd be surprised that are still running today if they both are.
Don't know about the Bookmobile, but can confirm on the Meals on Wheels.
Cool.
I'll tell you, as a kid, in my mind, I pictured both of those being similar to the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile and looking very much like the name would imply.
You know what's weird is like our library growing up was right beside the public pool and everything. So like it was kind of a coin flip as to what you're going to do.
Oh,
you're like you're either going to have some fun or you're going to go to the library.
Did your family make you dress for both occasions and keep you in suspense till you got there or something?
No, the funny part is that so we would go to these locations actually when
they'd have to look to see how they were dressed to know where he was going.
What's a bathing suit? He's not going to church.
Oh, I've got a bathing suit on. We're going to the pool. Hooray!
Yeah, you usually don't bring a towel to the library. But our daycare would like actually walk us from like daycare over to either like the library, and they were a couple blocks away and stuff. And one time we saw a car wreck happen right in front of our little faces. It was kind of traumatizing.
Wow.
They were just like, okay, let's get them on. Let's hurry it up. Well, before we get into everything though, everybody, we want to talk about our people over at patreon.com/HMP. The loveliest people, the bestest of people. They help support this show. They get pre-show, post-show, Dinger Zone. This week's Dinger Zone, we got our top 5 songs that bands are tired of playing. You know, sometimes when you got a big old giant hit, you're tired of playing them songs, and we talk all about that over there at the Dinger Zone. So check that out. Support over at any level. Patreon.com/HMP. We love all of you. Thank you so much. And head on over to the YouTube page there. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, throw us a like, a subscribe, and all that kind of good stuff, and leave a comment. And you can be like our buddy Nate, who left a comment on last week's Jackie Chan episode where we talked about Drunken Master. And Nate says, I don't like this, Nate. Why do you put this on our page? It says, Sweet Shanti speaking truth to power. I don't like that. That's no good. Don't encourage the man. He don't.
Why are these headphones hard to keep on? I guess my head is swelling.
But yes, thanks Nate for the comment and everyone else over there. Join on up. We got a ton of good stuff up there, including a giant review of Better Man that I just reviewed with my buddy Ryan. We talk about that, the new movie about Robbie Williams' life, and we try to figure out who the hell is Robbie Williams because we sure shooting didn't know. So check all that out. Links are in the show notes. Let's get into it, boys. Here is the IMDb plot line for Wheels on Meals. As we know, IMDb always 100% correct in everything they say and or do. 2 Chinese friends who operate a food truck in Barcelona, I should say it right, Barcelona, Spain, use their martial arts expertise to help their private investigator friend protect the pickpocket Sylvia, who's been targeted by a ruthless gang. That's pretty good, IMDb.
That's spot on.
That is exactly the plot. You don't really gloss over anything. Bravo. My goodness.
Ain't no fat on that.
This is written by Edward Tang, who wrote tons of Jackie Chan flicks, including Police Story, Project A, Drunken Master 2, Rumble in the Bronx. You get it. He just did a whole bunch of stuff with him. I think they had to have been good buddies at this point. Directed by Sammo Hung, who did Enter the Fat Dragon. He directed that movie. Game of Death 2, Project A, Eastern Condors, and a ton of more. And, of course, over 200 acting credits. My word. Starring Jackie Chan, Biao Yun, and Sammo Hung, and a whole other bunch of Chinese names I'm going to mess up. So we'll just skip that one like we did last week. And we'll probably do the same thing for the next 2 weeks as well, just because, listen, I screw up enough stuff as it is.
Who we are.
They're not real people. We don't need to say their names.
Hey, listen, they're not saying my last name. Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't want to offend.
You know.
You know what? Good point. Touche.
I'm not going out and saying, and welcome to the show, Baruch. I don't know. Like, see, that's rude. That's just wrong. So I just go ahead and skip it. Just because I'm
glad you acted that part out.
I wish I hadn't said anything.
No one does. Let's get into it. Have any of us seen this before? I don't think so. I think this is a first timer for all of us.
I've never seen it.
Oh, this is probably like the 10th time.
I know.
Of course,
Sean
it's the
was
first
the
time I've
biggest
seen it. It's the first time I've seen this thing.
Impressions going in. What did you kind of think, Bruce? This is the one I kind of picked out for you because I felt like it would be the most up your alley. What with our Sammo Hung connection here and everything.
Oh. Yeah, I was definitely excited for it. I guess my first impression though going into it is I felt like they tried to be a little too clever with the American name, but the Japanese name is Spartan X, and I'm not sure that that's any better, but I like the sound of Spartan X. They actually had a whole franchise with the Spartan X video game, Spartan X comic books. So believe it or not, this was pretty big in Asia.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's one of these things that I had heard about as far as kung fu movies for years and years and years. But like before the day of the internet and whatnot, some of these things were hard to find. You'd maybe find like bootlegs or something in like a Filipino gas station, like because that's where we had we found a couple of those when we went to LA. They were just like this gas station just had a whole bunch of just bootleg martial arts movies, and we're like ooh.
That was one of those things. It sounded specific enough. I thought there'd be a story there.
Yeah, there was. It was just like, what is this? Who has all of these things here in the year of like 2003 or something? It was nuts. But yeah, I didn't really know much about this going in outside of I'd seen a trailer and whatnot for it. I knew the Arrow Video had probably picked it up at some point. So I'm like, it's probably decent enough to give that a shot. And so here we are. So let's kind of, I got a little bit of a beat by beat, just some of the outstanding things in it. We start out with this crazy workout in the morning and stuff like that. Bruce, this is how I figure most of your mornings start. Just a little bit of some kung fu, some sit-ups and stuff.
I'm sitting there thinking, if me and Adam were roommates, that would be our day every day, right? Especially that weird thing where they lock their ankles together and do sit-ups.
That was pretty awesome.
I do have to say that moment there, I thought what they were going to go for is an Odd Couple thing because, Jackie Chan just kind of half-asses his way through the horse thing where you like that part there. Like he kind of just like pretends to hit it and then moves over to the other thing. And while his buddy is like stretching like a ballerina, he's just kind of hanging out there for a minute. And I was like, oh, wow, we're really going to go Asian Odd Couple on this. Cool. And then they immediately don't do that.
Then
also, if they, I had immediate disappointment when his roommate wasn't Sammo Hung because that gives you a great Odd Couple chemistry. If you ask me, you got the guy who would rather, you have one guy sitting there eating buns while he's holding the other guy's feet to do sit-ups, like that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
But, of course, that didn't play out. Maybe someday I'll get my dream of seeing that movie.
But they have I like the dual doors on the same room. It's just so stupid, but yet like that feels like something that was just there. I don't think they made that.
It's a good visual gag.
It's like, we're in separate rooms. No, we're in the exact same room. We just have the same doors right beside each other, which is like, what? Okay.
Now, I'll ask you, Adam, because I think maybe you've seen more Hong Kong movies than I have. The guy that plays the sort of best friend or whatever for Jackie Chan, had you seen him before or since? Is he a known commodity in the West? I just don't happen to know about.
Not necessarily in the West is he a big commodity, but he's definitely an Asian commodity like nobody's business. He's got about 130 something credits on IMDb and everything. He never really made that full giant transfer over here that Jackie did, but he did a whole bunch of this stuff. Same thing with Sammo and like your Project A and Pom Pom and Oh gosh, a
But
couple of the other ones.
eventually Sammo kind of like broke out in the West. I mean, he had a television show. That's how I found him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know really what his quote unquote breakout role in the West would have been, but I liked was Cheech, the guy that was in Martial Law with Sammo. I used to watch Nash Bridges and Martial Law back to back, so I get confused which one had Arsenio and which one had Cheech.
I think Cheech was on his show, if I'm not mistaken, which I might be.
Man, that was a great show, and I love Sammo so much from Martial Law that's why I was excited that he was in this.
Now, Bruce, are you sure you're not 70?
No. No one's ever seen my birth certificate.
I gotta go, boys. Blue Bloods is on.
Like that's a very just like I really like me some.
Did you know they brought back Matlock and Kathy Bates in it?
Hey, listen, man.
She's hot now.
Kathy Bates is a fantastic actor, and I'll watch her and whatever. I just don't like Matlock. Is just like why? Just why? No thanks. My favorite part of this. And I could see it coming a mile away, and we get it right here at the beginning. We plant those seeds. Chekhov's awning.
Yeah.
Is what I call this.
Yeah.
You're like, the second you see Jackie bounce off of that, you're like, somebody falling through this at some point in this damn movie. And the nice part is they make you wait.
That moment was so like fluid and sweet, though, of Jackie jumping down, bouncing off the awning, coming to the ground. And I immediately knew I was going to get the Jackie Chan that I think of in my mind, kind of stereotypical Jackie Chan performance, which, of course, we didn't quite get that level of fun, in my opinion, in The Drunken Master.
Yeah. David, though, like when he jumps out there and the guy moves the awning and and he just takes it in the ass, just bam, right on the concrete like that, dude. And like, there's no pads there. He's just falling on his ass and just going like, well, that's Hollywood, or that's Hong Kong Hollywood.
Isn't it interesting how the stunt choreographer gave himself the easy fall?
I'll bet Sammo probably actually had a lot to do with because he's also one of those guys who's been doing stunts and stuff forever. Like he even I don't know if he was credited or not, but he also helped with like Kung Fu Hustle's choreography and stuff like that. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, boy,
there's a lot of comedy,
great movie
karate
too.
in that.
Yeah, boy, been around for a minute. But yeah, so I love the awning thing. By the way, him just giving that was the no-go sign. I don't know why he took that as the symbol to jump out the window. That was a dumb move. But let's get in.
I mean, maybe he's wearing glasses. Maybe he didn't see it very clearly. They might have been dirty or something.
Sammo Hung plays a detective. So we got these two guys. They're just kind of like your regular food truck guys here and everything. And then Sammo Hung's character comes in, and he's not. Well, he becomes a detective, but he's kind of like what would you say his position is when he starts? Kind of secretary almost?
I would say that not even the script knows what his position was when he started. He just came into the office. I don't know, errand boy.
My guess is that they're basically playing him off like he's the gopher at the time.
Yeah.
However, I would almost guarantee that it's the sort of thing where like, oh, he's my apprentice kind of a thing in China.
Okay. Yeah. But I like how
sense. Yeah.
He's just like, all right, I'm giving up. I'm out of here. You're in charge now.
Yeah.
Just hits him straight up to the top. But I like the fish out of water. And there's something about Sammo Hung's face that is very endearing. He's got just a nice, gentle little face with him, but he always looks like he's up to something too. But like you can't quite. It's like he's like, oh, look at that. That's like a cute little guy. And then it's like, no, there's something devious behind them eyes.
Yeah, he looks like a stinker for sure.
Yeah, that's putting a banana in your tailpipe kind of fella.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
My only complaint is I could have used more of him.
Did you guys recognize the detective?
No.
I did
because I think it is him. He is Stan from the Golden Girls. He's married to B. Arthur's character on the Golden Girls. He's his ex.
Oh yeah,
her ex-husband.
Stanley Spornak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Good
same
catch.
guy. Same guy. And unfortunately, we're not able to hear his super Jewy voice because he has like the most Jewish voice I've ever heard in my life. To the point where it's like, come on, like the Jewish League isn't like up in arms over the way that this guy is like over pronouncing.
Fellas, this is a little much, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, no, we think that's fine. Like, no one's going to see this in America, so shut up.
Why hasn't the Jewish Defamation League done something about this man? Exactly.
But is Sammo's perm, though? I think that's probably the highlight of the movie for me.
Oof, man, what a bad
I love that
hairstyle for
perm.
that
I
hair.
need that.
I mean, I know it's done
I
on
need that
purpose
perm.
because he's supposed to be a joke, but like, my God.
It's like, here comes Lionel Richie.
He's committed to the role. You got to admire that. I think we should talk about the real star of this movie before we get too deep into
The van? Because
Yes,
that's what
the
I think.
food truck, man. This high-tech food truck, it's like somewhere between Knight Rider and the suburban assault vehicle in Stripes. This thing is
Yeah.
way more than it needs to be, and I kind of like how they utilized it. They utilized it, what I would say is the right amount, because I could see you being tempted to make this like
All
Herbie
about the
Love
van,
Bug with
yeah.
the
Right.
super truck.
Right.
Yeah, and they do use it, so a weirdo like me gets to enjoy this stupidly high-tech food truck, like people that can, apparently can't afford to get their own place, but they have this. Well, no wonder they got a $300,000 food truck.
Right. I think also there is there's a moment in this where they jump it.
Oh, yeah.
And I literally
Yes.
and I couldn't help myself. I try to watch movies just to be in the moment of that movie. I couldn't help myself when they go off that jump with that van. I was like, oh shit, they've got to have 5 of those vans.
Or that was the
it
van's
is
last shot.
It is so unique. And
Yeah.
also when they land, you see that the back of no, they go through a gate and they smash through cars in the gate and they get through. And the back of the van's completely messed up in that shot. Then they hard cut to the same back of the van and it's completely fine, which I thought was funny.
You're like, listen, a little suspension of disbelief there ain't hurt nobody.
No, I look, man, I watched Dukes of Hazzard for 5 years when I was a kid. Suspension of disbelief is suspended.
But like they got these awesome like little vector graphics there, which for 1982 is
The
like
onboard
wild,
computer was great.
Yeah, very cool.
so neat, and I love
And
how
with
all of the
the,
things pop up and stuff like that. The automation to it, having run a thing selling food and stuff like that, I'd have killed for a thing where I could just push some buttons and flaps would go open and stuff, and then you're like, boom, open for business.
Which brings me
The way it kind of had those.
to the question: do you think if you are a Chinese kid that you were able to buy a toy version of this van?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably not. Not back
How
then.
successful is this movie?
Let's find out.
Yeah, it had comic books, but you'd think the van would be the toy you'd want. Maybe people got their Sammo Hung dolls.
Yeah.
It's a plushie, first and foremost. You should know that.
It's like the second generation Cabbage Patch Kids, where the body's soft but the face is hard plastic, and the perm is like actually stitched into the head.
Well, I think
so
the
they-
IMDb don't know how much money this movie made. So I'm gonna say it made none.
It's Joe the villain from the Batman series. Like everybody wants that Sammo Hung doll. Like everybody wanted that the Joe the villain from the Batman movie, the first Batman movie.
Oh man! So the food truck, though, the most important place that it takes them is very early on. They
Yeah.
decide that we should go to a mental hospital and see these mental patients. And I found these mental patients to be charming, because if real mental health was like this, I would be way more eager to just go ahead and be institutionalized.
And it's super accurate. I could tell just by being a layman watching those scenes. I was like, that's exactly how they do it. All the beds are lined up like it's the 40s, and there's a guy who thinks he's a clock. That's how that goes.
And it's like on a campus way more beautiful than the university I attended. And they got like a pretty nice building with good facilities, and nobody has any unpleasant problems. Like somebody thinks he's a clock, that's not going to weird you out or gross you out. One
Right.
guy, I like the guy that says, I'm here because I'm emotionally damaged, not stupid. I'm going to go to another beach. I like the little thing. Yeah.
It's pretty
Eyebrow
great.
comedy.
Yeah,
Pretty great.
it's not too
And
bad.
I also I also got real confused about how the resident of a mental asylum pulls in a hottie, because I didn't realize she was also an inpatient at first. I'm like, wait. What's going on here? Like, do they get so many passersby on the sidewalk that he got a girlfriend out of the deal? But then when they explained she was also a patient there, it made a little bit more sense.
She got a nice 100-yard stare on her. So that was sold it to us. It's just like, oh yeah, this girl, she's a bit out of it.
I have to admit to something here, which is that I've been so trained by terrible, shitty American comedy or American movies over time that when they show up at that mental hospital, I immediately was like, oh, these guys are actually in the mental hospital and they don't know it. Because that's every mental hospital movie ever.
I will say that it absolutely would have caught me off guard if they Shutter Island a Jackie Chan movie.
If you put if this movie goes forward 25, 30 years, that would be the plot. Like in 1982, not so much. But in like 1992, maybe.
There's your comedy right there. That's a comedy that needs to be made. The comedy about like the guy who's actually in the mental hospital, but it's a comedy instead of one of 15 versions of the same movie.
At some point,
Shutter Island.
At some point, though, he has to like actually try to act messed up so they believe him or whatever. So he's got to do horrible things that just you probably don't want to put on film. Actually, now that I think about it.
Why even bother to reshoot the shots? Just cut in. It was all in Leonardo DiCaprio's mind the whole time.
Ooh, that's not bad.
The dirt bike,
or even better, Tommy Westfall.
the dirt bike guys, the dirt bike gang and everything. I love a dirt bike gang, and these guys are complete a-holes. And I guess Spain has no cops rolling around to do anything about the people that are rabble rousing the public square.
Clearly, only have comedic cops that gently harass your leading characters, but don't actually do anything that matters.
Hey, at least they were pretty cool with them at, when they were looking for the, the missing girl and everything. They're like, all right, well, you guys don't do crap around here, do you? Nah, not really. Well, see you. At least they were buddies about it,
I do like the thing. I do like, we've run into this before with Asian culture where like they have such a thing about prostitution where in this movie it's, oh, see, she's not a disgusting prostitute. She's just a thief. They have that, and they up the ante for Asian culture, because Asian culture has that whole thing about prostitution. Like, remember that one movie we saw years ago now during COVID where we're like, okay, so the other shoe's going to drop on this girl it's going to turn out she's not a prostitute, but she totally was. Remember that? What was
that
it?
Initial D that we're talking about? Initial D?
Yeah.
Initial D. Yeah. What a great movie. That was
Japanese
a great
story made in Hong Kong. It was.
Oh, wow. Really? I did not know.
Now, Sylvia, was that her name? The pickpocket's name?
I think so, yeah.
Sure.
Because she's who Sammo Hung is looking for. But of course, she just happens to bump into Jackie Chan and his buddy. They go back to their apartment, and it's like they're kind of battling to impress her or to get her affection. But then when she offers to give up the goods, as it were, they both turn around and say, no, thank you, and then lock arms and look like they're walking towards their bedroom. And I wondered, are they a couple?
No. Here's the thing. You are they
kind of looked like it in that moment.
Oh, they did in that moment. You're not wrong. They're not wrong at what it looked like. But especially during this time and previous and everything, not a lot of kissy face and hanky panky stuff in a lot of Asian films and stuff like that. It's usually not done super. It's like a peck on the cheek is almost like showing intercourse in a weird way.
Yeah, in my history, I watched a very specific genre of Asian film that had a lot of kissy face, so I don't know as much about the kung fu.
Oh boy.
When they're together, when those two guys are together, like Gen X writers and the Kevin Smith of it all, of them, like with their quote unquote witty banter back and forth between those two guys. That aside, like that stuff I found cloying and annoying because we've just been hit over the head with that for a million years in American culture. But I really like I really do like their chemistry together. These two guys, like Jackie Chan and the other guy, like they are really fun, and especially with the physical stuff, they complement each other so well, and it's kind of fun to watch them just beat the living hell out of people. Like it's just so fun, man.
There's a lot of the interesting the fight choreography in this. Sammo movies are a little different than other ones, I find. His, like, I like to call them just like bundles of energy fights, where like it's not as quite as technical and stuff as you'd see in like a lot of other kind of Jackie Chan films. There's a lot of like real brutal, hard hitting, just kind of, because Sammo's a big guy, right? So there's a lot of weight behind stuff, and he designs a lot of his fights like that and stuff as well. And I feel like that's definitely on showcase here, of just more of that kind of hard impact is the only way I can kind of describe it.
Yeah, there are certain moments in this movie too where they have like they'll have a fight scene where it's funny and fun, and then just out of nowhere somebody will get smashed in the face with a ball at the end of a chain.
Real brutal kick or something like that.
And he did have one shot. He did have one shot in one of his fights that almost felt a little bit almost like you could have told me it was lifted from John Woo. When they're fighting the bikers, they have kind of the long shot of Jackie Chan doing the sort of flying kick and knocking the guy off the motorcycle, which I thought was an impressive move and an impressive shot. But it felt way more open and way less claustrophobic than a lot of the rest of the fights.
Well, and especially with that particular shot, like that's what's so awesome about it, is like that's a nice wide shot there and everything, and like you kind of know what's coming. Like the first guy tackles and everything, and you know when Jackie's coming in there, you know Jackie's going to give it that 2-foot action kicking on a motorcycle. It's like, damn, that's so good.
And the long shot lets you know that was a legit shot.
Oh yeah, they just did
no quick cuts or cutting away and back in. I love it.
Yeah, we just kicked a guy off. We just kicked two guys off of a motorcycle back to back. That's just how we roll over here. You're like, damn,
man, so good.
I didn't expect Sammo to be such a big fan of skateboarding, though.
There's a lot of skateboarding in this. And again, we're looking at early 80s here and stuff. So skateboarding's kind of starting to really, starting to fly and everything. And I got to say, Jackie, pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good for a 1982 when skateboarding hadn't even really been around for like 10 years or so, like real proper,
That was going to be my next question because, Jackie Chan, pretty famous for doing his own stunts, but was he doing his own skateboarding? Because they had a lot that was just close up of knees down.
I could be wrong. Maybe I am. But why do I feel like I saw Jackie Chan's feet? Why do I feel like those are just, you know what I'm saying? I know that's a weird statement. I'm just looking at them like, I know those are Jackie Chan's feet, though.
What you didn't see was the rope under his armpits suspending him from a tree branch while he did his kick spin or whatever.
He had the cool little thing that I ain't never seen before. Now, plenty of people have like kicked the tail of your skateboard and popped it up in the air and caught it, right in front of you and everything. He does it from behind. I ain't never seen nobody do that before. I thought that was wicked. I'm like, whoa.
That was awesome.
All my years, I ain't never seen anybody do one from behind like that. That was pretty badass. And again, we're at the days before the double kickboard has even been invented, which is always fun to see. Big, giant, chunky wheels on, all that kind of good stuff. But I really think that's probably the worst way that you can take orders for a food truck.
Without a doubt, yes.
Especially delivering items and doing some kick flips. Probably
you're going around skating everywhere, which, by the way, good push off from him. And those bearings are like greased all to hell because he is flying, boy. He's going around there and just picking up stuff. I guess they do it enough to where they know everybody's name, and because he goes over to the painter and stuff and calls them Picasso and whatnot. So I'm sure that it sounds like they've kind of, this is their regular deal and whatnot, but I don't know. At the same time, too, though, if I got like a Coke that was only filled up 75% of the way, I think there'd be a little bit of anger going involved.
Hell yeah, I'd be mad too. Although I do have to say that they are so ahead of the curve with that food truck idea. Like they have the cool food truck. Like I can remember food trucks from, like from the 90s and stuff. It was not cool to have a food truck in the 90s, but that thing is cool.
you put
Usually had a guy that was doing his best impression of like Mel from Alice or whatever that show was, and just a lot of like nasty fried stuff. But this one, what kind of food do they serve? I saw hot dogs, and I saw him put a big glob of what I thought was potato salad in a cereal bowl, and they had Coke.
But and there's like hamburgers there, but there also looks like there's fried rice or something. There's 8 million different things on this truck.
And I think they mentioned a spring roll once, and I just want to go to this truck and get a bowl of potato salad with a spring roll and a Coke and a hot dog.
It's like, I don't like, yeah, when he's skating around, it's surprising that somebody doesn't go, bowl of spaghetti, please. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
It's close
I
enough.
do have to say, though, this whole sequence here of him in the square, like skateboarding around and taking the orders. That was the moment where I was like, oh, okay, good. So this is going to be this kind of Jackie Chan movie, like, you know, coordinated fun. And like, there's a lot of like, just like physicalness that's happening that even though it might not particularly be funny, it's very awe inducing when you see it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a really fun watch. Like there are moments in this at the beginning where I was like, oh man, if it's going to be like Sammo Hung becoming the head of that detective agency for this whole movie, like I'm going to have a hard time with this.
But it's like first scene, it's just like, actually, I'm going to be quitting and you're in charge now. And that's the plot. Keep on moving, baby.
Once he puts on the black suit with the white gloves, he's got me. I know this is going to be.
Well, of course, that's when he got you. He comes in dressing like a ridiculous man in a damn near tux and a fedora with white gloves, just and that's what he thinks detective wear is like, I guess, or something. I don't know.
you gotta lay low. You gotta blend in. But something we really kind of just totally sped by at the top of the show, we should have mentioned. I did not expect this to be shot in Europe. I don't know if that was common practice for Hong Kong productions to be shot in Europe or not, but I was kind of impressed and enjoyed it a little bit. It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, a different change of scenery here and everything, having Spain as a backdrop as opposed to Hong Kong and stuff, it lightens things up. My guess is it's probably like a lot of other things that, you know, like today a lot. It's like, hey, if we go away, they can't tell us what to do or they can't be watching us and stuff like that. If we're all the way over in Spain, nobody's going to be going like, hey, what are you doing? Where's, you know, time's a wasting or something like that. Or are you going to hurt somebody in these stunts? They don't care. They're not there.
I'm also kind of surprised if they were doing it, they didn't go to Italy because there's a little bit more film infrastructure for low budget productions in Italy. So I feel like Spain was probably a choice that significantly impacted their budget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. They probably, with these three big actors, they probably had to go somewhere where there was.
Yeah.
Oh, Sean?
That makes sense too.
Yeah.
There we go. Let's see. What else do I got here? I got babysitting a prostitute. Or not a prostitute, but a what's her official? What's she kind of do again? It's the pickpocket. That's the word. That's the word I'm looking for. The pickpocket and everything. You just can't trust it. Why? You never trust someone that you know is a pickpocket. Invite them over to your house and stay the night and everything. It's not what you do. Come on, you got to know better than this, boys. I guess pretty girls just be spacing everybody out.
There is the one issue with this movie
these
too. The big issue for me is that you show that she is really good at being a thief and a pickpocket and all that stuff, but you never use that to your advantage in any way in the plot. Like that is a massive hole in the script. Like she was able to get that money from them while they were sleeping and it was hidden. Like, how about using that to your advantage towards the end of the movie to obtain some goal? I don't know why they didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, they do a little early where she steals Sammo's wallet and everything, and that at least pushes a plot forward to where he's, you know,
right,
finally going after her a little bit now, and then that uncovers who she is to him and stuff. So that's a little something, but you're right. It could have and should have probably been used to greater effect later. I mean, hell, like I said, we got Chekhov's awning. Why not, some pickpocket action?
Right.
Also, at the end of the movie, when she's finally like rich and she's inherited all this money, I wish they would have bookended it by having Sammo Hung kind of steal something from her and laugh about it, and that's your freeze frame.
But my question is like, so you got a pickpocket lady here. Are they trying to like just set her on the straight and narrow by like giving her a job and everything? Is that what the intent is? I guess.
Yeah, because they keep saying to her, "No more stealing, no more stealing." They keep saying that to her.
I kind of did a little read between the lines where it might have been just my fan fiction to make the story a little bit better. But I got the idea that she's good for business, because who wants to buy food from two Chinese knuckleheads if you got this attractive English woman? I think she was. I don't know where she was from, but they've suddenly got the attractive woman out there taking orders and stuff. And I got the feeling the business did better when she showed up.
They were definitely coding her as English just by the way that her dad was dressed and the way that the guy who's trying to steal her is talking to her. Like they were coding her as English for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. They made it a nice international cast here, because we also got the Italian, and all Italians are out cheating all the time, and their wives are hot-blooded with shotguns. Perfect depiction of an Italian.
That's the way that goes.
But let's be honest, he probably would be cheating on that woman, though.
The only thing missing was like the white apron and the pizza dough. And
also, we are missing two scenes here. You are right though. They're pretty spot on. One is he doesn't steal a meatball off of a plate and she starts chasing him around with a rolling pin. That didn't happen. that was a gross oversight on their part. And two, he's not involved with the mafia in any way in this movie, which I think is a gross oversight again.
But we also have
strange, because the mafia does appear to be in this movie. Because I assume that it's the mafia if you're looking for a guy named Fatso.
Also, that was a really missed up. Like, I'm joking about missed opportunities a second ago. This is what a missed joke that Sammo Hung shows up at that spot and he's looking for Fatso, and the first guy he talks to is a fat guy.
Yeah,
and he's like, "No, I'm not Fatso." They should have had that as a stringer joke, where each person he goes to is fatter with each person that he goes to, like looking for Fatso. That would have been amazing.
It was close enough.
When he finds Fatso, he's built like Paul Rubens.
Right.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of fat jokes, the name of Sammo Hung's character in this movie is Moby. Is that a Moby Dick reference because he's chubby?
I think so.
No, it's Moby because he's chubby, and it's Dick because he's a private detective.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even make that second word connection.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like maybe they thought he was going to be a techno DJ in the future.
Oh, yeah.
I do like we have a nice extended montage. I always like a montage in a movie. I don't care where it's at. You throw on some music and you can kind of be like, here is the plot and we're going all through it.
She's trying on
that
hats.
We're doing. It's good stuff.
As much as I was enjoying the movie, I did start to get worried near the end of the second act that there just wasn't going to be enough fighting in this, because I tuned in to see a kung fu movie. But they brought it home in the third act. So I have no complaints when it was all said and done. But I thought, wow, this is pretty brave of Sammo to try to make a movie without much fighting featuring Sammo in it. But boy, does he get to shine, and reminds me why he's my favorite martial arts actor.
Yeah, they kind of wait till your third act.
You don't bring in that super weird looking white guy in your movie if there's not, that's going to be the end of the movie. Did you really not recognize that dude?
I did not recognize that dude at the time.
I recognized that dude, and I was like, "Oh, hey, that super weird looking white guy is in all the Hong Kong movies." Isn't
It's like, this guy's in everything. Yeah, he's getting his ass kicked right now. I know this.
Yeah,
or at least by the third act, he's going to get it to him for sure.
But boy, Sammo had some great form with fencing. The guy truly is a master of all the martial art.
It's one of those great things watching him just move throughout all these years. I don't care what, pick a point in his career and just watch the man go. He's just, as big as he is, he's just so fluid and but yet powerful at the same time, which is, it's pretty stinking special to watch what Sammo does on screen.
I totally agree, man. It really is like watching like Bam Bam Bigelow without all of the human growth hormone.
He does like these, like somebody will hit him and he does these just wild falls and stuff like that, and getting right back up in just this smooth ass movement that is just like any regular person would have a hard time doing that, much less, a dude of his size. So he's just got all the skills back there.
I thought that maybe they were padding him up to make him look fatter, but there's one point where he sits down and it was like, holy cow, man, he really is actually that fat.
Yeah, he's a big boy. And honestly, this isn't even
natural.
This isn't even his final form, as it were.
No, I know. I've seen other movies with him.
Some say he's the original Kung Fu Panda.
Hey, listen, I would, that's how I see the guy. But our girl finally gets kidnapped here because, of course, at some point she's got to, right?
Why introduce her if she's not going to get kidnapped? Weird.
But we got so many awesome car chases. I think that may be the thing that I don't think that maybe we were all kind of expecting is how good all the car the driving in general. That van is badass and moves like crazy. It's surprising how nimble it is.
Like throw up those wing doors and start flying or gliding at some point, but they never did that. But I was really ready for that to happen in some of those car chases.
You wanted some mask action to happen on that thing.
Well, I'm not going to say I wanted it, but I expected it.
Mobile Armored Strike Command.
Man, what a shit.
A helmet comes down out of nowhere and puts guts on their head. Like, where did that mask come from? You've got very little headroom there, Matt Tracker. Why? How did you do that? How did that happen?
The first thing I ever shoplifted was that motorcycle that turns into a helicopter toy.
Ooh.
Oh, the guy with the Jack Nicholson impression? Yeah, that was awesome.
Yes. Priorities.
One of my favorite parts in this movie is where this old lady goes airborne in this Mitsubishi. She lands and then gets out and does a Mitsubishi commercial, apparently.
Yes, she totally does.
What's that product placement?
Listen, Mitsubishi is all over. The van is Mitsubishi. When they're at the prostitute alley there's a giant neon Mitsubishi sign there that's lit up and everything. I would almost, if they didn't, they probably should be like, hey man, what gifts?
Oh man,
it's way weirder if it's not Mitsubishi. Like if Mitsubishi isn't throwing them a little something, it's way weirder.
Well, that might explain how they got a better than average budget for this on top of the stars that they have. And then also the Japanese name, as I said before, is Spartan X. And I wonder if that was a make of car that Mitsubishi put out that year or something.
That's clever.
It doesn't make sense. Like, what if that Mitsubishi van is called a Spartan X in Japan?
It might be.
And because the name Spartan X doesn't make sense unless it's something like that in my very rigid world.
She gets out and it's framed right at the emblem on the hood and everything. And she goes, thank God this is a safe car and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, Mitsubishi, now 1999 or whatever. I was waiting for it to happen or something like that. It was so great though. But right after that, that's when we get the van jump over the bridge. Wildly impressive. Holy crap, that is cool.
And that's when I expected the doors to fly open to make it look like a bird. But that didn't happen.
If this was like a 90s thing or something, they probably would have opened up at some point. And it wouldn't have flown like a bird, but they would have like slow-moed it and have them looking at the camera like, oh my God, or something like that. That would definitely happen.
Definitely.
They didn't have the technology back then. There was just some wild, crazy stunt man that was driving that thing. And they were like, go all out, buddy. And he had to, man, because that's not a thin bridge. That's a big old bridge. That's a pretty big, decent sized one there and everything. It clears it with ease. And then how lucky that they got the other track at the bottom side of that, of the other bridge there, where it's like, here's all these cardboard boxes and some tracks for you to conveniently drive down on the other side. But hey, listen, they jumped a bridge. Shut up.
I ain't complaining.
No, you can't complain about that. It's too good. But of course, but right after that, for some reason, they're sliding along there, and then they just throw Sammo out of the car, and he like flies down a hill and stuff. And you're like, what? I think Sammo just wanted to have a tumble.
Yeah.
Of course, man. He's your stooge.
Yeah. We mentioned it before, but we got Kmart Harvey Keitel, as I call him.
Yep.
This guy's awesome. He is such a good fighter, and that's clearly why they got him in this, is that he is friggin' good.
The Jet.
I am just, all of it is just like, it's so cool. And like all of it just kind of wordless and everything, where he's getting up, he's got the blood in his mouth. He's just like, you son of a bitch kind of thing. And him just going, I'm going to sit down during this fight and confuse the hell out of this guy and stuff like that. I'm sorry, what?
Just act like it's training. Just catch your breath. And he takes off his shirt. And because of the stripe on the tank top he's wearing underneath, at first I thought he had on a sports bra. That could have distracted me for a minute.
That would have been a very distracting move for sure.
And later, I could tell it was just a two-tone tank top. Boy, I was really wondering what was up with fashion in Europe in the 80s.
So I've got answers on our van.
Okay.
So it's called the Mitsubishi Delica.
Ooh.
Yeah, and Jackie Chan had it specifically modified for the movie.
That wasn't bone stock?
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean by that. Like,
all right.
Yeah, you know what I mean by that. There, and also that van, you could buy that van as like a little Matchbox or Hot Wheels thing.
Cool.
At the time. Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, it seems really dumb that you couldn't. You know what I mean? Like that would be a really dumb. Like, why make something so awesome that kids would absolutely want to buy? I want to buy it today.
And it's China.
Yes,
you have the manufacturing facility right there.
Van that they used to make.
So I also have the movie takes a weird turn where all of a sudden we end up underground with the Morlocks.
Yeah, no kidding.
Is that what kind of? I was like, all of a sudden we're like, oh yeah, the underground of Spain has just like, you know, what were the people in the exit? Yeah, they were all the Morlock people. That's all it is.
Yeah, I just noticed they couldn't go through there without commenting on how bad they smelled.
Yeah, you have to.
It was, but I like that. That's where they decided we're going to hide out in this homeless encampment here and everything, and we can't be here too long because God does it smell. That's the only thing, is that we can't just go, we can't stomach that enough. We got to leave now. But a lot of Marx Brothers type comedy in this, which I kind of enjoyed. I thought
I was surprised. I was fully expecting it to be your Buster Keaton / Three Stooges stuff like he usually does in his movies, but this is way more Marx Brothers-y. And if you were going to have fencing in your movie and you have these three guys in the same movie and you don't make a Three Musketeers reference, like just go home. So when they do that, I was like, there it is, finally.
I loved everything they did with the fencing and the sword fighting. Just a nice touch, something you don't see every day in a kung fu movie. I feel like this may have, kind of inspired sort of the breadth of combat styles that you'd see in like a Jason Statham movie from the 2010s or something.
No, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. But it just felt really fresh here. It was great to see the three of them united. It was great to see Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung kind of fighting side by side, even though I would have loved it if they did the comic book thing where they had to fight each other first before they could be friends, because I kind of would have liked to have seen that. But I had so much fun with all the fighting here at the end. And, I'm not going to lie. Like I've said so many times, I'm a sucker for Sammo, and he doesn't really get featured till the end of the movie with putting on the silly helmets and getting the sabs and stabbed and all that kind of stuff.
They did have that great moment too in this where they keep showing you that how clever Sammo is, because Jackie is just doing these physically impossible feats to get to where he needs to get. And Sammo Hung has to do it a different way because he can't do the thing that Jackie can do. And it's just really great.
I would have loved to see Sammo Hung doing those wall gymnastics with the pole and everything. I'd have paid good money for that one. But man, watching Jackie do that is one of those things where you're just like, this little guy can do everything, can't he?
Yeah.
He just rolls right up and he makes it look so effortless. That's the worst part. Is that he makes it look so easy.
Before the word existed.
Yeah, pretty much. Let's see. And just the whole fight scene at the dinner and stuff like that. I thank God we kind of like you said, Bruce, I was kind of the same as you. I was like, man, I don't know that we're going to have enough fighting and stuff in this for my pleasure. But boy, we get to that third act and we definitely got enough fighting in there. It's really good. It's just nice, solid stuff. It's not too over the top, but it's not like it doesn't feel like we're phoning it in either. And there's like you said, with the sword fighting and all that other kind of stuff, we mix it up just enough for you.
And they made it feel like a really nice kind of like group of buddies at the end, all with each other's back. Even though Sammo was the newcomer to the group, I still felt like a nice throuple bromance going on there by the end, and they made a cool team. And there's plenty of duos out there that have their own series or what have you, but I would have liked for the three of these guys to have stuck together a little bit.
It does feel like it'd be rife for a sequel of some sort, because you get these three guys and put them together, hell, throw them to another country or something, and they could have kind of like a Bob Hope Newhart kind of what's his face there.
They get some Saturday morning cartoonish premise where they're a food truck that also solves crimes, like because they got a detective on the food truck now.
Yeah. It's Hope and Crosby, Adam.
There you go. My God, my brain was just taking a nap there.
I could see you short circuiting, and so I was like, "Let me help out."
I was so mad at myself.
Oh, the on the road movies, was that what you were asking about?
I was just like, I'm like, I don't know. I got Bob Hope. I got half of the equation, but the other one,
because I am a good co-host.
Thank you, sir. And the great. I also love when we have good quick endings for movies like this, or any of these movies where we just wrap this bitch up and we send it home. We don't have to sit here and have a postscript to everything. It's called we hit the thing, we throw a high five, we freeze frame, and then we roll the credits, and then we're done. You hear a cool song, and then you're finished. That's the formula that we've got here, and you know what? It works.
It's the best. I love when that happens.
I like the irrationality of the ending too. Because imagine, let's just say it's the three of us and I inherit $1 billion. Is it more of a cool ending for me to say, I'm going to put my $1 billion aside and come live with you two poors? Or would it be better if I said, hey, why don't you guys join me in my $1 billion escapades for the future? I mean, let's be honest. Which would you rather see? Bruce coming back and pretending like he's poor, or pulling you guys into my mink sink lined mansion?
Of course. I mean, that would be really weird. That would be so weird.
Have you ever used a toilet that was not only made of gold but also had Spock ears? Because you would, my friend.
Ooh, this is a fancy house. That shouldn't.
I would literally
have
I would literally have 3 seashells in every stall.
When I've hung out with fabulously wealthy people before, and whenever you are friends with somebody who is like crazy rich, you're always at their house. They don't want to come over to your poor house. No, you know what I mean? Like they
Exactly.
they would rather like be there where they're comfortable, and they don't want to sit in your living room. That is kind of small.
I've
like,
seen your chairs, and no,
right.
And I'm going to be honest. I've never been acquainted with any fabulously wealthy people, but I've been acquainted with like the 8-figure types, and I'm kind of embarrassed to have them over to my humble abode. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a two-way street there. Like, I would much rather watch this movie in your home theater than on my TV.
I get them with interesting, like our stuff is interesting. So like usually when that happens, like somebody will be over and they'll be like, oh, wow, this is really cool. And I'm like, oh, thanks. Oh, yeah, we worked really hard.
My stuff's interesting. My stuff's interesting, but not in an impressive way.
Oh, this is interesting. Why would you put this here? It's like, why would you ask that question that way?
Are you sure you used to be a college professor? This does not look very highbrow.
They say you're smart. I'm not seeing smart around here.
What, you don't like this picture of Freddy Krueger I ripped out of Tiger Beat and taped to my bedroom wall?
They put Freddy Krueger in a Tiger Beat? That seems weird. That's not a thing.
Especially given Freddy's predilections,
They put him everywhere. They put him everywhere.
Tiger Beat magazine. Ready?
These teen girls need a little Robert Englund in
the hottest dudes. The man of your dreams is what it said right above.
There you go. There you go.
He loves teen girls more than he cares to admit.
He like there's like a thing where he's just showing different sweaters for the season.
There's a feature article by Leatherface.
Right.
Shit that makes
I picture him like holding a fluffy puppy dog or something.
Me and Handsome by Leatherface.
All right, we got to ask ourselves: is Jackie Chan doing it in this movie?
Hell yes. I mean, look, like it's not like the weird thing about Jackie Chan is that the other guy in this movie with him, his buddy, because neither one of them is the sidekick; they're equals.
Yeah,
his buddy is the better looking of the two guys, but there is something just so alpha male about Jackie Chan that you can't help but just constantly look at Jackie when they're both together. Like it's just the way that goes.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's a familiarity thing. I really think it's just because of his charisma.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Some people, man, I'm a believer that there's some kind of like unmeasurable particle that's given off that we call charisma, because some people just have it without doing anything but standing there and smiling. And Jackie Chan's one of those guys who had the worst voice actor I've seen in a while doing his VO, but still enjoyed him. So that says a lot because I get distracted.
Have you seen Super Cop yet?
Not yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
Wait for the voice acting in that bad boy.
Now, if you had to recast Jackie Chan in this role, who do you have? And it's like we said, if you can't come up with somebody who you would actually put in this role, we have to come up with the worst person for this role.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood should be in this movie. In 1982's Clint Eastwood in the Jackie Chan role. Why not? Because it's the bad answer. That's why.
Geez, I'm trying to think. Who would I put in 84? I think your best bet is Cynthia Rothrock.
That's exactly where I was going. That is exactly where I was going with this. Cynthia Rothrock is still young enough where it doesn't look weird, you know, because like towards the late 90s with her movies, it's just like, yikes, lady, you're too old to be doing
your
this stuff.
auntie's kicking people's asses, and you're like, huh?
But when she's younger, it's really, really impressive. And so 84, she's probably like 16, 17 years old. And she is really the right choice for this. Agreed. Although all that weird stuff with the single bedroom and stuff, I don't think that would fly.
Well, I think you changed the story so that the pickpocket is another kung fu master.
Yeah.
And she's also not funny because I've seen a movie with her in it where it's like supposed to be like, you know, like inspired by Jackie Chan stuff. So like she's a little bit funny in it. And that woman cannot tell a joke to save her life.
What are you talking about? Honor and Glory is hilarious. Hilarious. Not in the right way, but it's hilarious.
Did she ever get a spot in any of the Expendables movies? Weren't there 4 of those?
No, she was probably like, listen, not for nothing, but like it's easy enough to bring back 70-year-old guys. It's tougher to bring back 60-year-old women.
It's true.
But you make like answer the phone or something. You know how they do sort of like just like
she's the Annie Potts of the Expendables.
Yeah, something like that. You know, you find a way to work her in.
Go over there and answer the phone, sweetheart. Sure, she'd love that. She's got to kick somebody's ass though in the office. I guess.
Love interest. See how that goes.
All righty, boys. Movies only come in 2 forms: art and fart. Sean, where does Wheels on Meals fall for you, sir? Art or fart?
You know, I think that the thing about this movie is that I love it. Like I love this movie. I was trepidatious going into it just because of what happened last week with me, where I was like, oh no, I don't like this movie. But I think that I don't think this is art either. Like, I think that a lot of the stuff in this, like, I really do enjoy this movie. I enjoyed watching it. I don't know if you can call it art. Like, I think that there's something lesser than about this movie, but I do like it.
Mm-hmm. I see him. Yeah, I mean, because there's not a lot of stakes. It's not overly serious in any particular way. And sadly, we often don't consider things that are fun art.
Well, look, I do.
I'm just saying as a general public, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you'd be like, oh, well, this, no one's like, so few people would be like Paddington. Now that's art.
Yes, but that is art.
But it is.
And that is wonderful art. But I think that like this movie is so clunky when it's clunky that like I can't call this art.
Yeah, I can
see
it.
I do love it.
Bruce?
Oh, I say that Jackie and Sammo are a winning combination every time. This is 100% art for me. I don't know if they did much other work together, but I want to check it out. And I do want a movie that's got a little bit more Sammo in it so that you can really see the two of them play off of each other the way that I enjoy for more of the run.
I forget the number, but they've definitely done many films together and stuff like that. So you have more swings at the plate for this one for sure.
Can I bring something up right now that we have not discussed at all during this episode?
Yeah.
Which is that whenever Bruce speaks, there's that click that keeps happening because of his wire in his headset. Mm. And I love it because it sounds so analog. It's like you put on a record.
Over.
and it's sorry about that, guys. I'll work on it.
It's all right.
No. What I'm saying is I love it. It really does feel like somebody just turned on a record. Like it really does. Like it's not annoying in any way to me. Maybe it is to some listeners, but it is not to me at all.
Get bit, listeners. Is that the way that we should do this?
I think that's
that's how you do it.
Hey,
that's how you do it.
What are you taking a page out of my playbook? Come on now.
No
That's
kidding.
That's my territory, sir.
My God, with you guys, like my God, like
the fact that
Jesus
anybody
Christ.
listens, is that 100% Sean? Is that what we'll say at this point?
No, not at all. You guys have your things too.
You're
but
the
like,
only one who's nice or kind, though. Adam and I tend to be more bitter lately.
well, not like the thing that I think about all the time, like I thought about, not all the time, but I thought about it very recently. Is there was that period of time like last year or 2 years ago. I don't even remember, but like you guys are like, Sean's not on this week, so we could talk about the great stuff, the stuff that he keeps us from saying. And I'm like, you're not understanding the reason why I'm saying to shut the hell up about this stuff is because it's awful. Like what you guys want to talk about sucks. No one wants to hear your 2 bits on this thing. I promise. And you guys are like, oh, where the doors are off, baby. Finally, we can have some fun for a change. Because old stuff shirt, shoddy boy, he hates this stuff. It's like I'm trying to save you from yourself.
Well,
nothing but dreams and hot dogs when you're out, Shanzi.
My God.
I guess I'll keep all my hot sock talk to myself then. That's fine. That's fine. I don't care. I'll save it for the Patreon people where they appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what people want. They want to pay to hear about your stupid goddamn dreams.
3/4
What
sock.
firmness of toothbrush bristle do you guys recommend?
I'm on a heavy.
See, this is what I mean. This is exactly what I'm talking about.
I want my teeth to fall out when I brush. For me,
I can't believe you didn't make that transition from open micer to professional comedian. It's hard to believe.
Who knew? For me, this is it's just barely art, but it's right there. I have some fun with it. I enjoy it. I'd like to go back to it again. This is one that when it was on Prime there and everything. It did not look fantastic, and I know there's a good transfer of this out there, and it makes me want to actually go and see that so I can actually, see what's going on the screen, because this was just a pixelated mess.
Yeah, I agree. I don't even care about those things as much as you do, and it was hard to watch at times.
It's like, ugh, this
It was not pixelated for me. Where did you guys watch Apple?
I watched it on Prime.
Yeah, it was on Prime. Prime looked like
I watched it on
dog.
Prime too, and it didn't look bad to me, but then again, I was pretty far from the TV, so maybe I didn't see the pixelation.
He was in his neighbor's house watching. That's how it happens.
Binoculars through the window.
Well, next week, everybody, Jackie Chan-uary. I'm sorry, I said it incorrectly. Jackie Chan-uary continues on here, and we're going to be talking about a movie. So we started with Drunken Master from 78. Then we had Meals on Wheels here from 84. Now we're going to 1992. Oh, what a good time, 1992. With Police Story 3, a.k.a. Super Cop. You probably know it best as Super Cop, but technically it's Police Story 3. But, So
I saw Super Cop in the movie theater
for this,
as it was billed as Super Cop.
I'm excited for
it. It was fun. It's fun.
Very nice. So we'll be talking about that next week. In the meantime, Bruce, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
Another week, same recommendation. Go check out Werewolf Fighter on YouTube. It's 40 minutes of your life that will change you forever.
Shawnee, worst pair of Adidas that ever existed. What?
Oh boy, man, that's a tough one. There's a lot of bad. There's a whole lot of bad. There's like low rent Stan Smiths that will kill your feet. It's like wearing Vans without the support. Like those are the worst, and they're ugly. Like it's the kind that you would buy at like you would get at a discount store, like a Ross or something. Mm-hmm. And they fooled everybody into thinking that they were great because it says Stan Smith on them, but they are awful. They're ugly and they hurt your feet, and no one should own them.
Sit and spin, Stan Smith. That's what you heard here today, everybody.
I love Stan Smiths, but the cheapy versions of those. So
they put the Kmart versions in Sears, and they're like,
yeah,
hey, no, these are cool.
Remember when Converse was doing those 1-stars at, I think it was Target, and like people fell for it? I did. I fell for it where I was like, oh, these are terrible. I'm never wearing these again.
Check out our YouTube page, everybody. We got a lot of good stuff up there. I review the new Monkey Man movie, as I call it, the new Robbie Williams flick and stuff like that with my buddy Ryan. And I'm going to have another cooking episode, and not too awful long. That's right. We're going to make a little apple strudel here from Inglourious Bastards. It came with a recipe card, so that's cool. That's going to be the next thing that comes up, because people apparently like me cooking, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why. That's a weird one, but here we are. That is it, everybody. Join us next week for Super Cop from 1992. For Sweet Sean Kovacs from the Internet, Bruce Leslie, I'm Adam Portress, reminding you that the only difference between art and fart is an F.